help me reach 2,000 subscribers. When I discovered what Emily had done, I felt my blood run cold. Our joint account, the one we had built over years of saving, over months of planning, over countless late nights and sacrifices, had been tapped, drained. And not for a vacation, not for bills, not for anything that would benefit us. No. Emily had used our money to bail out her ex-boyfriend. I remember the exact moment I saw it. The transaction alert popped up on my phone like a warning flare. $12. 400 transferred to Jason Clark. My hand shook as I scrolled through the bank app again, convinced I had read it wrong. But no. Every number confirmed it. She had taken what was ours. Without asking. Without telling me. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I didn't confront her immediately. I needed a plan. A way to respond that was calm, calculated, and undeniable. Emily had made a mistake. One she thought she could cover up with excuses or charm. But I had learned over the years that certain actions can't be ignored, and certain betrayals demand consequences. By the time she returned home that evening, I had already acted. I drained my half of the account, transferred everything I could move into a separate secure account under my name alone. I didn't hide it, I didn't sneak it. I did it transparently. My phone was ready, my lawyer on standby, and my resolve firm. When Emily walked through the door, humming like nothing had happened, I didn't greet her. I didn't ask how her day was. I simply held up my phone, displaying the new account balance. Empty, exactly as I had left it. Her smile faltered immediately. What is this?" she stammered, her voice faltering. I kept my tone calm, steady. "You know exactly what this is, Emily. I took my half. The half you didn't have the right to touch." Her hand shook as she backed away. Eyes wide, lips parted in disbelief. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't yell. I simply let the silence stretch, letting the weight of what she had done and the results sink in. The apartment, once filled with ordinary life, now felt like the stage for the consequences she had created. Emily opened her mouth, tried to explain, to excuse, but the words came out jumbled. Tati, I cut her off with quiet authority. "You didn't think. You acted. And now you see what happens when someone crosses the line." Her panic escalated quickly. Emily's usual composure, the confidence she carried around like armor, was gone. She paced the living room, hands twisting in her hair, eyes darting to my phone screen, back to mine, as if trying to find some loophole, some way to undo what had been done. "You can't do this," she shouted finally, voice trembling but sharp. "You can't just take the money, our money." I leaned against the counter, arms crossed, calm. "I can, and I did. Because what you did wasn't ours, it was yours and Jason's problem. You used joint funds for your ex without my consent, without discussion. That's not a mistake. That's betrayal." Her face went pale. "I didn't mean to. I was trying to help him. He needed me." I shook my head slowly, refusing to rise to anger. "Helping him? That's what you call it? Do you know what months of saving, planning, and sacrifices mean? Do you know what trust is? It's not just words, Emily. It's action. And you broke it. Completely." She sank onto the couch, looking defeated, desperate, pleading without saying it. I didn't move closer. I didn't soften. This wasn't about punishment, it was about truth. She had created this situation. She needed to face it. Her hands flew to her face as she whispered, almost to herself, I didn't think he'd. I didn't think." I held her gaze, letting the silence speak louder than any lecture I could give. The fear in her eyes was almost enjoyable, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because finally she was feeling a fraction of the panic and helplessness she had caused me. For once, she was on the receiving end of a reality she had refused to consider. Then came the calls. Emily scrambled to her phone, dialing Jason, trying to reverse the transfer. But her panic only worsened when she realized it was too late. The money was gone, secured in an account she could not touch. Her ex left scrambling with nothing but promises she could no longer deliver. I sat back, letting her flail in frustration, observing the unraveling. Every word she said, every frantic motion, every pleading glance was proof that she had underestimated the consequences of betrayal. The apartment, once her sanctuary, was now a mirror reflecting her choices, her recklessness, and the reality that actions once taken cannot be undone. She looked at me finally, tears streaming down her cheeks, voice cracking. Ryan, please. I held up my hand, silent authority. No. This isn't about begging or excuses. It's about accountability. You made your choice. And now you're experiencing the result. That's all. Emily's tears fell freely now, but the panic in her eyes had shifted into something deeper. A dawning comprehension of what she had done and the consequences she couldn't escape. She slumped onto the couch, her hands clutching her face, shaking as if the weight of her mistakes had physically struck her down. I remained calm, deliberate, watching her unravel. This was not about gloating, not about revenge. It was about clarity, about making her understand, in a way words alone could never convey, the cost of betrayal. Emily, I said softly but firmly, this is what happens when trust is broken. You chose him over us. You chose him over our future. And now you are facing the results of those choices. She looked up, eyes red and pleading, but I could see the fear mixed with regret. Ryan, I didn't think it would get this bad. Please, we can fix this, can't we? I shook my head slowly, keeping my voice steady. We can't fix what's already broken. We can rebuild what's left, yes. But the money is gone and the trust is gone. Actions have consequences, Emily. And this moment? This is the price of putting someone else before your own family. Her hands trembled as she picked up her phone again, dialing frantically, hoping for a solution, a miracle. But I didn't intervene. Let her feel the panic. Let her feel the helplessness that she had forced me to endure. This was the moment she finally realized that life isn't a game where mistakes can be reversed with words alone. After a long, tense silence, she finally sank back, exhausted, defeated. Her breathing was uneven, heavy with guilt and shock. I leaned against the doorway, silent, letting the gravity of the situation settle over her like a fog. The apartment, once filled with normalcy and routine, now echoed with the consequences of her recklessness. You understand now? I asked quietly. You understand why I acted the way I did. You understand what trust really means. And maybe, just maybe, you'll think twice before making decisions like this again. She nodded, tears still streaming, lips quivering. I understand. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean to. I wasn't thinking. I let her apology hang in the air. It didn't erase what happened. It didn't undo the panic, the fear, the lesson learned the hard way. But it marked the first step toward accountability. A step she had refused to take for months. By the end of the evening, Emily sat in quiet reflection, the frantic energy drained from her body. I didn't hug her, didn't offer comfort. She had to face the consequences herself. And as I watched her, I realized something profound. Sometimes, letting someone experience the full weight of their actions is the only way to make them see what they've lost. She had tested the boundaries of our trust, and now she was seeing the cost. That night, I felt a sense of calm I hadn't felt in months. The money was gone, yes. But the lesson? That was priceless.